G'day there. Today we're going to have a look at some of these high voltage capacitors I've been making, and we're going to dissect them. These ones have all popped. There's a few different ones here, some black ones and some clear ones, and some more clear ones. And we're also going to have a quick look at an effect I've found that sort of is again another demonstration of the plastic dielectric being the storage medium in the capacitor. So let's have a look at this one and we'll see if we can find out why it's popped. Now I haven't even started pulling it apart yet. If I look around the outside somewhere, I think this one, yeah, if we have a close look there we can see a little black dot in there. That's suspiciously close to where this red lead goes in, so I suspect I already know why this one's gone, but let's have a look anyway. Yeah, that black dot is just over there somewhere. And if you're thinking the quality is a bit lower than usual, that's because I'm filming this in high-speed mode with 500 frames a second. Looks like we found our leak. Now, what I wanted to demonstrate is if I actually wave this probe around the outside here, you may see some arcing on the plastic cup. That's actually demonstrating the charge storing on the cup and then shorting out. I'll wave it all around and get the cup all charged up. Hopefully you caught that, and we'll do it once more just in case you didn't. And I'll try and fix up my driver that was about to fall off. There we go. Alright, so let's get that nice and charged up on the inside of that cup. There's a good example of it there. Got that arc. But all those other arcs going all over the cup, that's actually just the energy that's been stored on the dielectric being discharged by the arc. So I thought that was pretty cool and worth sharing. Now, let's pull this one apart and have a look and see if we can see anything more obvious. And yep, I wasn't right about it being the wire, but that little hole there on this side coincides with another hole that's quite visible in there. And I can actually see light through that. That's gone right through to there. And again, if we hook this up to our return, no doubt we will find the leak in short order. I just really like doing that. I should stop to keep this video short. So, what we can see with this cup is that, and that's got a charge on the outside of it too, and it feels all tingly. Yeah, cup's really tingly. I don't really want to. Can you hear that? I don't really want to get zapped by that. So even with just one plate of foil, the cup can store a significant charge. Now what we can see, and this is going to be quite common with all the cups I think, is that little pinhole's all started off the edge of the foil. Some corona's happened in there and that's caused it to short out. Right, so let's move on to our next cup. Get rid of those ones. We know what killed those. Corona off the edge of the foil. Let's have a look at this one. And again, I don't need to pull the arc out this time. I can see quite clearly. It's got a hole right through the cup there. Again, it's pretty close to the edge of the foil. Now let's have a look on the other side. Can't see anything on the outside, but hang on, I've got my finger on that hole. And that's right where the end of this wire goes in. So let's pull this apart, and look, we can see that hole's gone right through the cup. That's a big one. And let's have a look on the other side. And sure enough, right where the wire goes on and on the edge of the foil. So again, it's corona discharge off the sharp edges on my foil. So it turns out my quick and dirty method of making these capacitors, where I just scratch it all in there, you can see there's still a bit down the bottom, is not paying off on the higher voltages. Here's the spark gap I've been using. Now it runs fine on, they'll run fine on that sort of a gap, but when I go to the full width of this container and start getting over about 35 or 40 millimeters, it is starting to pop these cup caps. So what I've done is a bit of a solution there. Try and reduce that edge coronaing. I've actually put my cups in an oil bath, and I've actually got oil inside the cups in between each layer as well, to really try and damp down that corona. I'm just using cheapo vegetable oil, doing like cheap nasty stuff. I got it for like $3 at the supermarket. It's the cheapest one I could find. So, and they do seem to be working a bit better. If we have a really close look, you can see some air bubbles in the cups there. They weren't there when I started. I was very careful to get all the air out, or at least I thought I was. It may be that there was some air trapped in between layers of foil and cup and stuff where I couldn't see, and that's since squeezed out due to the coolant force squeezing the layers of foil together, which does happen. I've had the cups get quite stuck and be hard to pull apart actually. Or I think what's happening is I'm hearing a bubbling sound when that's running on the spark gap to drive my Tesla coil that I did in the last video, and I think there's still some arcing and stuff going on in there. Although the capacitor does still test fine and seems to work, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but it definitely works better in the oil. It's also a lot less lossy. I don't hear that hiss of corona when it's plugged in and running on the oil. So let's quickly have a look at a couple more of these cups. And as I mentioned, they do get quite hard to get apart. Now, let's check the one that was on the outside first. Sorry, the middle one. So hopefully there's no arcing through this cup, because there's been no conductor on the inside. So I might be able to rescue that cup and stick a new one on the inside of it and not have to remake 2 new bits of foil. I might just have to do one. And it does appear that that cup is fine. And that was a nice discharge there. That's fine. Alright, oh, and I've just killed it. How's that? Carelessness. Total carelessness. Let it arc to the outside. Let it arc to the outside and it burn a hole in the cup. Carelessness. Alright, so that's probably invalidated this test for pulling it apart further, because we know there's a hole there. That's hissing. Sorting that out so it doesn't zap me while I'm handling it. Not that it's a big zap, but it's best avoided if possible. Let's have a look at this next layer anyhow. And same deal, I've just let it arc to the outside and caused that leak. There's a huge big hole. Turn that off, hey? There is a huge big hole down the bottom of that cup. And I suspect that was again Corona. Look at the bottom of this cup. That's all quite hard. That's the shape that it was in. I bet. Where's that hole I just made? We can line those up and match that. Yeah, look, there was a big gap there where the foil wasn't hard against the plastic on the inside. I can see through the hole, which you probably can't see on the camera. The foil in the bottom half is hard up against the bottom of that cup nicely there. But on this side, that wouldn't have been the case so much. It's really lumpy, and there was a big gap right in that area, and I can feel pointy bits with my finger. So again, there's been Corona coming off the inside of this cup, and it's arced to the other one. So making these smooth for high voltage really would pay off, and even sticking them together with a bit of oil like I have with the oil bath there. And it really makes a big difference. Now again, this one, let's just do a quick test just for the fun of it. I'll grab that first layer. Start out with the thing inside this time. That's got a huge leaky area on it. There's a big crack in that one. It's actually split the whole cup. Even though it leaks, it still does hold some charge, but not as much as it should have. See. Oh, and it got me. I think that was from moving the cups apart. It generated some charge. Yep. Let's do that a bit. Look at that, you learn new stuff all the time. And there's a spark. Not as big that time. But that is definitely causing some charge just by doing that. There you go, learn something new every day. So that cup's shot. And this one, straight away I can see it's right where the wire is, and I can actually see some strands of wire floating around there. So that was actually me sticking the wire in badly. And to counter that, what I've been doing since I've noticed this, and I did that with these other capacitors, is where I've got the stranded wire, I've actually taken a bit of tin foil and wrapped it around the wire like so to create a bigger area of contact with less sharp edges. I'm actually folding it so it's a bit thicker on the edges rather than being fine and pointy. So hopefully that will corona less than splayed out wires that are spread everywhere like so. Alright, so that concludes this teardown of broken capacitors. Let's have one more look at some arcs, and I might see if I can throw some slow motion from the high speed on the end of this video. Look at that lovely corona. Pretty cool when you can see a corona in full daylight. at that. I can cool and force the cup up out of the oil bath. It's sinking down again. And rise. Alright, that's enough messing around. I'll see if I can get some slow motion on the end of this, but I'm not promising anything because I've never done this before, and I may be limited to the YouTube video editor. We'll see what we can do. Thanks for watching.